Daredevil, he was just handling those four titles, which he eventually called Marvel Knights when they were released. But in the course, and he was the artist on Daredevil, but he was also kind of the editor for those titles. But in the course of us working together, he became the editor-in-chief of Marvel in the process as well. And then so he opens this FedEx package, and he pulls out these black and white crime comics, and he calls me up and says, what did you put in this box? What is this black and white, indie book? And I was like, oh, that's my best friend Brian Bendis. That's his new crime comic, Torso. And the polite way to say it is that he told me that he didn't like Brian Bendis' artwork. But I said, well, he's an incredible writer. And he goes, yeah, you're right. I really love his writing. He's like, do you guys want to do something together? And I was like, yeah, great. We did a lot of other things together that I won't even mention here because I don't want any of you to look for them. but we worked for years doing a lot of things that we never want anybody to find now, just to pay the bills. Him drawing, me inking, a variety of collaborations in different ways. And now we kind of looked at that first Marvel offer as like an opportunity to work together on something worthy of our friendship. And so he said, what do you guys want to do? And I told that to Brian, and I introduced Brian in person to Joe Quesada at the San Diego Comic-Con, and we all had dinner together. And originally we were going to do another series. Brian said, I want to do a Nick Fury series. He's like, you and I are going to co-write a Nick Fury story, and we asked Bill Sienkiewicz to be the artist on it. So we're like, Bill, Brian and I are writing this, and you can do the art on it. And Bill Sienkiewicz was super psyched to do that. Brian and I both grew up loving Bill Sienkiewicz's work. But I also was very close with the artist named Jim Steranko. He was kind of a mentor to me early on. He wrote the introduction to the very first Kabuki volume. And he is very identified to us with doing the work for Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. And so, in fact, a lot of the Winter Soldier artwork credits that I did for the film is kind of an homage to that really stark graphic sensibility that Jim Steranko gave to both Captain America and to his S.H.I.E.L.D. books. So I thought it was a perfect opportunity to kind of pay homage to that in doing the Winter Soldier artwork for the film, which dealt with Captain America and with S.H.I.E.L.D. And so I said, well, we got to have Jim Steranko on the team too, because he's a legend of doing Nick Fury and S.H.I.E.L.D. So let's get him to do covers or basically anything you want. So we approached Jim Steranko. We want you to be a part of this too. It's me and Brian writing it, Bill Sienkiewicz to do artwork, and you can do the covers. You can do anything you want. And I think at the time, Jim Steranko had some kind of business issue with Marvel that wasn't resolved. So it kind of didn't work out, and that project never ended up happening. But instead, Joe Quesada said, well, I was writing the Daredevil story, and Joe Quesada was doing the art. He said, well, why don't you and Brian just do the next Daredevil story together? And I was like, perfect. So that next Daredevil story, called Daredevil Wake Up, became Brian's very first Marvel story. And I did the art for it, and he turned in a script for that. And that script he turned in for that, also, before Daredevil was published, that script got him the offer to write a tryout script for Ultimate Spider-Man as well. And that really put him on the map with getting other offers for things. So, yes.
We've heard you've been in the set of the Daredevil TV series of Netflix. What was it like meeting the cast of the TV series? And is it true Vincent D'Onofrio, the actor who portrays Kingpin in the series, tweets you all the time?
Yes. The Daredevil, first of all, I love the Daredevil series, the TV series. I was super happy with it. And Joe Quesada invited me to go on the set of the TV series, and I was in New York, and Bill Sienkiewicz wasn't far from where I was, so I asked Bill to come on the set with me, and Bill Sienkiewicz and I both went to the set of the Daredevil series. So I don't know if all of you have seen the TV series yet, but if you watch episode 9, where Wilson Fisk and Matt Murdock meet each other for the first time, they didn't even meet until the 9th episode, right? They meet each other in that art gallery, where Wilson Fisk walks through the door of that art gallery. Bill Sienkiewicz and I are right on the other side of that door. the whole time it's filming. Wow. We were sitting there in like those kind of director chairs with headphones and screen and like watching everything. And Charlie and Vincent would come back through the door and go back and do the scene and come back and do it again. And we were right there on the other side of that door, trying not to make shadows on the door. And just the energy of those characters coming together for the first time on the show was amazing. And Charlie Cox was already a fan. He had like books for us to sign when he was there, and Vincent was amazing on the set right there. Like he said how much Bill's artwork and some of my story informed his character of Wilson Fisk. So that was amazing. And since then, Vincent's been very outspoken about, on his social media, Facebook and Twitter, saying how Bill and I inspired his performance for the Kingpin character, which was amazing. And he even texts me now and then to talk about it. So that's a secret. Don't tell anybody that.
Is it true the origin of Kingpin in the TV series was based on your story?
When I started writing that first Daredevil story, a lot of times that story gets a lot of mention in terms of creating the Echo character in that story, which I did create for that story. But really, when I was writing it, what I thought the story was more about was the Wilson Fisk history. There's kind of a evolution and origin of the Wilson Fisk character from childhood on up to adult, where he kind of becomes the Kingpin character, and how that's relevant to his current life. And I really enjoyed that. Was the most personal part of writing that story for me. There was a lot of me writing about issues with my father in the story, and I really related to that part of the story. And when I saw the TV show, they have a lot of allusions and nods to that kind of history and origin of the Wilson Fisk character. With the hammer, and even the setting is kind of like the same kind of setting. The cracks in the walls, and even the characters in the TV show have like the same color clothes as they do in all the comic book scenes. So it was really neat to see it. I mean, they made different choices, really good choices to make it work for television, that were different than how it was in the comic. But all really good. You always have to sort of adapt something when you change the format to it.
What other projects are you currently working on right now?
Well, a lot of people probably know that I'm doing all the covers to Chuck Palahniuk's Fight Club 2 right now. Issue 5 just came out this week, and there's 10 issues in total, so I did all the covers for that and some extra covers, and I'm working on the collection of that eventually as well. And that was an amazing project because Chuck Palahniuk, I've been friends with Chuck Palahniuk for a long time. He wrote the introduction to one of my Kabuki volumes called Kabuki the Alchemy, and I've been talking with him for years about doing a comic book, and it really came together with Fight Club 2. He's never written a comic book before, but he had written Fight Club. I think he first wrote it in maybe 96, something like that. And then shortly after it was published, it became a film in 1999, directed by David Fincher. Most people know Fight Club from the Brad Pitt at Norton film. And so